Welcome back to another installment of Stand Up. In this video we're going to be going over week 3 of the 5 fan-made stands of the week. How these videos are going to go is that we read over the stands that were chosen through a randomizer and then review all of the stands after reading. Before I start, I'd like to say 3 things. First, I'd go follow Fresh Bone Art on either Twitter or Instagram because he made all of these drawings for the fan-made stands that had gone over in week 2 of this. Second, if you're new, then you probably should sub if you're going to submit a stand. That's the best way for you to get notified for the next video to see if you actually made the cut or not. And for 3, if you plan to send a stand, please send it through email. If you put it to a text file and send it like this, it makes my time way easier. Now for number 5, we have Sugar by Maroon 5. The appearance: 2 robots with red and blue hoodies with fingerless gloves and limbs that can be detached. It also has hearts on its kneecaps, elbows, and on either the knuckles or the backhand of the gloves. The stand has the ability to transfer data into stand users, other people, and animal brains, and it can also transfer the data and memory from them into the user. Also can inhabit and turn into electronic devices, but only electronic devices. It can travel through data or the electrical currents, but the stand user cannot. The stats: this stand has a B in power, a C in speed, a C in durability, an A in range, D in precision, and a C in potential. Stand cry: I thought the stand cry for like the first second was how Schnitzel talks for a little bit, but then I actually read it over, and it's actually ra da 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 ra da, like ra da 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 ra da, like something like that. But I guess in a sense it would be Schnitzel. Biggest strength: since there's 2 stands, all damage is halved unless both robots are being attacked. Weakness: when the stand is inhabiting or taking the form of any electronic device, any damage inflicted on the device will be transferred over to the stand, which means it's going to be transferred over to the user. Or if a virus infects it while in the form of a device, the stand will automatically return to the stand user. For number 4, we have Might Be Giants by Pilu X2, or Pilu X2, I'm not sure how you say it. Appearance: the stand is a humanoid with a kind of ugly face and gray skin. His head is fused with a metallic helmet and extends over his nose, but leaves the rest of his face exposed. The mouth is also partially sewn. His arms are skinny in comparison to the rest of his body, which is quite muscular and partially covered in metal plates from what it seems to be nails or screws. Ability: Might Be Giants has the ability to turn anything it touches into little and light and puts it into a can so it can use it for later. The weight of the original object will not affect the can's weight in any way. However, if it's too big, then the can could become unstable and open itself without warning, especially if it's outside of the stand's range. The objects inside of the cans won't experience any type of change from how they were first canned. It comes out the same way that it came in. The stored objects reappear once the can is either opened or destroyed, and the cans can be opened by anyone. It can also be used to carry weapons and various objects, and also to kill by throwing cans with really big objects at someone who's inside of a tight spot like a room or a house, and let the enemy get squashed, like say if it was a car or something like that, and just easy. Stats: this stand has a C in power, a B in speed, A in durability, C in precision, C in range, and an E in potential. There's a lot to work with. Number 3, Save Me by Jim Handley. With that, there's also Save Me Requiem, and called You Can't Save Me, straying away from having the Requiem in the name. Ability: time point manipulation. It says time point saving and changing, but I thought I would just take away from that and just give it manipulation because it's way easier to explain. The user can choose a certain point in time, and if the user wants to go back, then they can go back to that point and change certain things into that point in time. If the stand user dies, then they can be resurrected and brought back into that point in time, so it's basically like a save state. Then there's the Requiem, You Can't Save Me, with the ability of life deletion. The stand user dies, and then everyone that's ever met or seen him will die, then anyone who's ever seen them will also die, and then it will domino out of control. The first stand has an A in power, a B in speed, D in durability, C in precision, and an A in potential. Now for the Requiem version, the things that are changed is that instead of a B, it's an A in speed, and instead of a D, it's a E in durability, and instead of a C, it's an E in precision. So there's that. Number 2, we have Instant Crush by Neko 9000. Namesake: Instant Crush on Random Access Memories by Daft Punk. Ability: the ability to create pocket dimensions. The name for the ability though was given to be Never Be Alone Again, instead of saying, oh, the ability to create pocket dimensions, or something, pocket dimension manipulation, or something close to that. It can be used for any means of traveling through to get to different places in our dimension while being able to bring things and people with him and to evict from the dimension at any time. The pocket dimension can be used to hold things instead of traveling with them directly. Right here it says that the portal can be used to redirect attack for the most part, but it's not going to be able to redirect time stop or melee attacks. But by that, I'm guessing that it means that, oh, you can redirect attacks that are basically projectile based or something like that, but not relating to anything that would be your fists or anything that would have to do with space-time manipulation. And you can have it come from any angle. So basically, imagine Magician's Red spewing fire at you, you're able to capture that and then have the fire redirect back at him. Instant Crush can also make portals small enough to fit inside of a person's arteries. Inside of the dimension, Instant Crush and the user can move freely by any means of the user can think of, as they are not limited to this dimension in all terms of mobility. For example, IC and the user can start walking up towards the sky without even there being a wall or anything making sense of it, and with no effort just walking up. This also means that abilities like Echo's Act 3 Freeze are nullified when IC, or the user, travel to the pocket dimension. Any other person or stand is limited by the real world, unless pulled around by Instant Crush of the user. The dimension does not increase Instant Crush or his user's abilities at all except for the previously mentioned mobility. Anyone in this dimension can see all things that are in our dimension but can't affect it. Anyone inside the dimension perceives our dimension in frozen time like it would be the world or Star Platinum stopping time. In fact, they perceive time freezing stands and their users in the same way that the time freezing stand, if the world is activated at the same time that IC teleports the user and can perceive everything in frozen time. For example, you can light a stick of dynamite while it burns in the actual dimension, but it doesn't burn in the pocket dimension. Then you can use a portal from the pocket dimension to put it anywhere on the enemy in the range of 5 meters, unless time is stopped fast enough, and this would work on anyone really. Weakness, time stopping, and the range of 5 meters that it has. So it probably gives it an indirect weakness to him, like sheer heart attack for example, which is a stand that doesn't need any range and just keeps on going and going and going until it's dead. Well, till the enemy is dead. Stats: an A in power, A in speed, C in range, B in durability, B in precision, and A in potential. And now we have number 1, King of Strings by Aura Warrior. Namesake, Gypsy Song by King of Strings. I'm not really sure on how it's referencing the song because I thought that King of Strings was the name of the band and the stand, while the song does not have anything to show up for the Gypsy song in specific, but yeah. Appearance: a puppet, specifically a marionette. It's rather slender, its eyes look red, the puppet is the same height as its user, and it's also rather feminine, and it looks like it's wearing a tight turtleneck dress and wears a Joker hat. Ability: it creates strings that are rather thin but are extremely hard and only visible in light. Also strong enough to hit with enough speed and can split your limbs in half or cut them off. The strings can combine and make a weapon for the user or the marionette. If there's a dead body, they can control the user, and the stand can also stitch wounds and severed wounds. The stand can strengthen its user by putting the strings inside of their body and make them hit as hard as an A stand or make them as fast as A, but their weaknesses: doesn't take hits well, and the strings only have a 20 to 25 meter range, can only control 2 bodies at a time, and cannot strengthen the user while controlling these bodies. Has no close ranging capabilities other than making string weapons or strengthening the user, and cannot use strings while strengthening the user also. Stats: this stand has an E in power, a C in speed, an A in range, an A in precision, an E in durability, and a B in potential. Now this is where we do the whole reviews and all. Sugar, I like the stand in like these type of categories. Like, this isn't a stand that's like Star Platinum and they just go and run up and beat people up. Data transfer, including memories and the stuff that can be such a broken ability and doesn't have to actually involve physical confrontations. It doesn't have to beat you up to make you weak. Knowing everything about your opponent is probably the biggest strength possible. And you know, except like space-time stuff, because that stuff is just pretty much busted in general. Might be giants. This stand, Instant Crush and Enigma have like a couple of similarities. The whole preserving effect in separate ways and using them against later, like to everyone. Might be Giants has the ability to where the preservation is compromised. The way that it works is that like anyone can open the cans and they can kill themselves easily, honestly. And the enemy can accidentally kill themselves by messing with the wrong can and then imagining just, oh, I got a can of car, and just like crushes them in this small little room, and then it's the end of that. So yeah, it's it just depends on how exactly these stands use their preservation tools and which ones can control what, and these are actually pretty different for the most part. You have to just take notes on the littlest things, and honestly these are all good stands. Save me. Now, questions for the creator. You put parentheses and like it said 1 punches like KC for the power stat. I'm not sure what you meant, but I'm guessing that you meant King Crimson, like 1 punch like King Crimson. So I'm guessing that's how you refer to it and how he can just really end someone in like 1 swift chop. but King Crimson can still do like the aura stuff. Basically, he just doesn't do one punch stuff. I mean, it's more like he can, but you know, they don't always do it because plot development, and it looked cooler to just do one chop and all. Aside from that, I actually like the whole point of IRL save stating. But the thing with that is that, well, I don't think that Jojo applies to this, because going back in time, well, it's save stating honestly, but if you go back in time and change something else, it's gonna go into a different dimension basically, or a different universe. That's the whole multiverse theory, because if you go back in time and you change something, then the you of then will not exist. Like, multiverse theory is really weird, but as a whole, like, it's a pretty complex thing. I think if you actually go back, it's gonna change the effect, because people of that time isn't gonna like that's still gonna be their own universe. It's gonna be a universe without you though, and after that, once they take you out, you're just in your own, and it's big thing. Now for the Requiem, you don't give any reasoning on why it works and the way it does, and it just kills everyone that met this stand user, and also includes people that saw him die. If it was to protect his identity or something like that, I'd get it, but I don't know anything about the stand unless you write it down. That's for everyone that's honestly that wants to write in stands. Just remember, like, if you guys want to update your information on that, you guys have to send the information about like what's your stand and all. Oh, the stand name by insert YouTube username here, and then send it through the email. That's how I get it. But yeah, because if I can't just base it off of like what I think that it would do. So because it's your stand, I have to know what you guys are writing about and all. Instant Crush. Not many people actually design their stands when they send it in. There's only like a few couple. Like the reason we were able to get 2 today, but there's not really that many people that honestly send in their stand drawings and all. But I didn't know if you minded, but I use it as a thumbnail. I can change the thumbnail if you do mind, but you sent it to me, so I'm guessing you don't, and I'm sorry about that. I'm dragging on too long. But the concept behind the stand is like preserving stuff in time and all, and being able to preserve a stick of dynamite before it's right about to explode, and then you having the ability to blow it up right next to the enemy if they are in range of the stand is insane. And the portals to the pocket dimensions and all, being able to open up to anyone in 5 meters is pretty crazy too. So this stand would be able to keep you on your toes the whole fight, because if you give it time, then you're gonna get blown away. And it's crazy stand. Really good. I like it. King of Strings. I like the stand, but I want to know if you've read up to part 6. If you haven't, this is a pretty good stand with no influence whatsoever. If you have read, it's still really nice with its differences. Because I don't want to say like, oh, there's Spice Girl and then there's Vitamin C, because this one has a clear difference because it's using light it's not like clear string, obviously, like the way that you would the stand that I'm referencing, Stone Free. But there's that, and just because it has string in the name, it's gonna be like, it's like, oh, that's why I would take away from that. But no, they all have their differences, and as a whole, this was pretty nice. And I would like if you gave an explanation behind the namesake, because I don't know if I googled the band correctly or not, but it says that the band, like, what is it, that the song that you reference it to be the namesake is a song, and the name that you gave, King of Strings, that there's the band, and that's the name of the band and the stand, bars. But still, it's basically that. So yeah, so thank you guys for watching. Send in your stands, but I suggest you honestly just put them in a text file, like put them in a notepad, save it up, and then submit it over. Write down your stand name by your YouTube username, and then just click send. That makes it the easiest way for me to get it. And I'm probably basically resetting the whole process of it. I'm still gonna have the stands that I've saved over time, and I'm also gonna be putting, there's a Google page basically. It's a Google Docs page, so you can see if your stand is there. If it's not, you should probably send in the document. You should probably email it to me. Then, because if you don't see your stand there, then that's like, these are all the stands that I got so far. But if it's not there, then you email me and I'll be able to add it onto the list and see that all. So thank you guys for watching. Peace out and Godspeed.